My name is Larry Speck. I'm the W.L. Moody Centennial Professor of Architecture in the School of Architecture, University of Texas at Austin. And I am also a principal in Pageville & Page Architects here in Austin. I am a complete architecture junkie. Just love to look at it, love to read about it, love to think about it, love to talk about it, love to design it, love to build it, love to live in it, love to visit it, just everything. And a long time ago, I realized that I went from being a junkie to being a pusher. And I am now trying to addict as many people as I can to this thing that I think is just amazing. So it's just kind of a mission with me to let people understand more about how cool this architecture stuff is. I think, unfortunately, in the media and just in the world in general, our culture has been sold the fact that architecture is these whiz-bang, cool things. And that there's this perception somehow a great architect makes a funny little sketch on a napkin and voila, it turns into the Disney concert hall or something like that. And I think we've got to re-educate the public that no, that's not what great architecture is. That's an exotic kind of thing that should happen occasionally, but the real thing is what they live in, what their kids go to school in, where they work. These are important places, and we need to be paying attention to those. They need to care about those, and we need to demand more of those environments. This room where we're sitting, it's a perfect example of how architecture just has an enormous impact on people's lives. Thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of UT college students have come to this room to study. It didn't matter whether they were engineering students or they were fine arts students. They come to this room and they look around and they say, this feels like I can study here. And I've heard generations of students say exactly the same thing. I just feel great studying here. In my practice, I think I really like to do buildings that maybe you'd consider workhorse buildings. Not glamorous particularly, but they have a really important job to do. And I think healthcare facilities are very much like that. And we got an opportunity to do this big medical center for the Chickasaw Nation several years ago. And the Chickasaw Native Americans, they were part of the Trail of Tears that came from the Deep South to Oklahoma. They had this beautiful 240-acre site on Chickasaw land that they were going to provide for the medical center. And we tried to find things we could weave into the building that would make them look at that and say, this is us, this is about us. It has places for families and friends and people like that to be there. Bigger rooms so more people can be in the room and be there with their loved one. Lots of hangout spaces near the room so your family has alternative places to go. It's thought through the whole process of a support system for healing. And then just beautiful views everywhere out to these natural environments. Every single patient room, not only a view out like a normal window, but really thinking of people who are in beds or kind of horizontal people. And so we put windows up high, so even when you're lying down, you can still see out and see the sky and see what the weather's like, and even when you're really sick. All of those little things add up, I think, to make an environment that is both really meaningful to the Chickasaw people and also a really good place to get better. I think the primary takeaway I always want people to have talking about architecture is this is important to your life. This is something you should be concerned about, interested in. Because I honestly believe this is the difference between being happy and being depressed is the physical environment you inhabit. It's the difference between being productive or being a little inefficient can be the physical environment you're a part of. The difference between living in a community where you feel enthusiastic and excited and really alive and being in a community where you feel alienated and uncomfortable. All of these things can be the physical environment. It's about design and it's about architecture. That's a takeaway for me.